What is going on, guys? It's the Insomniac here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a bit of a tutorial video. If you've seen I think it was my last video I uploaded, I actually did an intro for a friend of mine, and I thought it's a pretty cool effect, and I thought I'd put like a short tutorial out just to show you guys how I sort of achieved it. It's pretty simple, so I'll just show you guys here. So it's just that sort of spinning effect there. Not this bit, mainly. It's not gonna load now. Mainly the spinny part at the start with the rings and the sort of, I don't know what you call it, like orb in the middle. But anyway, we'll jump straight into this, going into my Audacity here. So we will jump onto Cinema 4D. There we go. It will load. Hopefully my computer won't be too slow today. Let's skip them. I don't know why I keep getting DLL errors. Okay, so once you're in Cinema 4D, we'll go to standard mode here. I'm sure your guys will probably launch straight into standard mode. Mine starts in startup mode for some reason. Anyhow, we will jump straight into the effects. Pretty simple. I'm not going to add any textures on this. Just going to take a sip of my coffee here. Anyway, so we are going to go on to, I believe it was Tube. There we go. So you're going to get your Tube in Cinema 4D here, and obviously it's a bit too thick, as you can see. So what you want to do is, if we just get the camera and go out here, you see this orange dot here. You just want to click and drag this out into your desired sort of ring width. So let's just say, I don't know, there's no really set width. You can just choose whatever width you want. We will actually make that. There we go. That'll do, guys. That'll do. So we've got our first ring here, and for the sake of being neat, we'll call this ring 1. And then what we want to do is Control V that, make a copy of it. We're gonna rename this to ring 2. If you guys don't know how to do that, I think you can just rename somewhere, maybe not. But it did take me a while using Cinema 4D to work that out. You actually have to click on the object and press enter, and then you can type in and then click out, and that's how I rename. It's not the usual Control R for some reason. But yeah, we'll Control copy again, and we'll make 3 rings. Again, this is to your own satisfaction, so you can make as many rings or as least rings as you want. But now, as you can see, we've got 3 identical rings. So the next thing we want to do is, it's probably best to go into top view, so we can either click this button here, and this will give us all 4 views here: perspective, right, front and top. Or if you don't want to do that, we've got the hotkeys, which are F2 will take you into top, F3 will take you into the side view, and F4 will take you into the front view. So we'll click F2 here and go into the top view. And ring 1 we're going to keep the same size, because that's just going to be our first size ring. Ring 2, we're going to come up to our size here, and we are going to hold shift. If we don't hold shift, oh, there we go. Oh no, it's alright, it does do it in aspect. I usually hold shift just as a just in case, because shift usually, if we can see, if we hold shift there we go, it does both at the same time, because sometimes if you don't do both at the same time, then it will sort of squash it into an oval shape. But we will we'll make ring 1 a little bit smaller here, so 80% let's say, and then ring 2 can be 100%, and ring 3 will make 120%, just like that. If you don't know I'm doing that, I'm just holding shift, as I said, clicking and dragging. Shift sort of goes up in increments of 10, as you can see, 100, 110, 120. If I don't hold shift, it sort of does it randomly. Control Z that. So now we've got 3 sort of almost identical rings that are just slightly bigger sized. So as you can see here is perspective view. The next thing we are going to do is we can sort of, if we just bring, there we go, rotation up here, and again, if you do this without holding shift, it's sort of manual, so it'll go up in tenths of a degree. If you hold shift, it'll go up in 5 degrees. So we're going to make that 90, and we'll make this 190 as well, just so it's got sort of standing up, so we know where we're at. And then, or we can do it all at once, select them all, and there we go. Bring this round. So now I've got 3 rings like this. Obviously, if we render that out now, we've just got the 3 rings. Sort of, this is the ending effect that I'd had, where it sort of all came into uniform again. So the next thing we are going to do is probably get this sort of orb that I had in the middle, which was, it is a pretty cool effect, but pretty simple to be honest. So what I actually did was I made a sphere in the middle. Probably make this a little bit smaller, so let's say 60%. Again, all the sizes can be your own. I'm not saying it's particular size it has to be. And then this sphere is, we changed this to ice. However we're saying this, isohedron. I ain't even gonna try. But yeah, we're gonna change that to that because as you can tell, if we go to standard, it's sort of square polygons almost, and then that sort of triangles, that sort of halves it, and so on and so on. This one I found was the best for when we put the exploder effect on. It makes the best sort of shrapnel. So the next thing we are going to do is actually go into our explosion effect here. And what you want to do is, you don't want to do this because this is the mistake that I made. Most things usually you make the child of. You actually want to do this the other way around. Make the explosion a child of the sphere, and as you can see straight away we've got this sort of shrapnel effect here. It's obviously at the moment it's way too exploded, so if we go into explosion effects here, and we go into explosion, and I think we can bring the strength down here. Okay, so let's say 20 here. Maybe a bit more. Let's say 35. Yeah, I'd say that's about good for now. And as you can see, the sphere was actually here, and the explosion is sort of made it sort of drop. If you can see what I mean, it's not central anymore. It should be basically where this crosses. So what you want to do is you want to get to gravity here, and at the moment the preset is that it has a it basically has gravity on like you would in real life, so it would fall at a certain rate at 9.81 newtons, which is science, bitch. But basically you want to turn this to 0, click off that, and it's going to put it straight back in the middle for you. So simple there. We'll probably just do this a little bit more, maybe 40. What you don't want though, guys, is you see the shrapnel that's sort of coming out here in blending into the rings. That's going to give you a you know, it's not going to look very nice. It's going to be blending into the rings. You're going to get some bleeding in your polygons. It's just not going to look very professional. So you've got this blast range here. It's just down from the strength. We can just change this down a bit. As you can see, too much and you're not going to get any range at all. So we'll just turn this up a little bit, maybe a bit. There we go. I think that's about right. 54 will do. Again, it'll be your own preference to the size of your rings, the size of your sphere, etc, etc. But so yeah, there's our sort of orb effect that we've got there. Once we can render that out, so you can see it's sort of starting to take shape. We can do this. You can rename this if you like to, let's say, orb. Oh no, I've got caps lock on for some reason. Orb. There we go. And then the next thing you want to do here is, as you can see, if it's not still buffering, oh no, we've got an error. But if you go back and look at the intro, I'm sure you've seen it before, at the start of the video, it sort of had this light in the middle. Let's just refresh this, see if it's going to work. Nope, seems my internet's gone for some reason. The internet around my house is always sucking. But yeah, it sort of had this like volumetric light orb sort of feel to it. The way you're going to achieve this is you're just going to get a normal light here, so we're going to come up to the light bulb here and light, and that's going to put it right in the middle of our scene. Obviously I haven't moved anything, I've just rotated, so everything's still central to the actual like world. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, we're going to click on the light, and we're going to come down to, I believe it's type, nope, it is visible light, sorry, visible light, and we're going to come down to volumetric here, and it's going to give you this sort of white thing, white sort of more spheres going on here. So we've got the exploder one here, and then the volumetric one here. But and then obviously at the moment it's going to be white light, so if we render this out, it's sort of a white glowing effect, if you get that. You get these rays of light, which is pretty cool. But at the moment, if you want to change this, then all you have to do here is change the colour if you like to whatever your preference. I believe I had it as blue, just like this, but you don't have to have that. You can have it as darker blue, you can have it as pink, I guess, green, whatever you like. Take this off, we'll make it green for the sake of the tutorial. So yeah, we've got the orb effect, and the next step is the animation, basically. So everything's all cool here. To make the rings sort of have that spinning mechanical effect, what we want to do is we are going to come onto each of the rings here, and we're going to start our keyframe here at 0. You can do this by manual keyframing here. So say we go into the rotation tool, make sure we're on ring, and say we can keyframe here and then go to like 90, and then if we keyframe like that, so now if you can see it rotates. That's manual keyframing, so you can set it yourself. But a quicker way to do it, but you have to be careful when you're changing things, is auto keyframing. So we click this button here next to the keyframe button, sort of the little I guess cycle button. I'm going to click that, and you can see everything's gone yellow here. That means that if you change it, then it's going to set a keyframe. So we'll start off at 0 here, and we'll set a manual keyframe, so it's but no, we won't take that manual keyframe. What we'll do is we'll just mix it up a bit. So what you want to do is you want to get it as random as possible. So not really increments of 10 for this one. You really want to just mess it up a bit. So let's say 123 degrees on the right axis, and 50 degrees on that axis, and let's say, can we get to that? There we go. Like that much on that one, maybe a little more on that one. So just keep it random, guys. And then we can keyframe that, and then let's move it up to 90 here. So I have it on 33 in just a second, so that'll be 3 seconds. So you don't want it to move too quick, or it'll look a bit sort of, it would just be too fast and it won't look as well. So you want this sort of slow effect. So you want to change it a little bit, maybe 30 degrees, I don't know, a few degrees this way and a few degrees this way. And you see this is auto keyframe for us, so we can click off here now. Remember to click off that, otherwise when you change things it'll start messing up your keyframes. And we can drag our keyframe back to the start here, and if we click play now, as you can see the first ring actually moves a tad. Now that's your first ring, and then you basically want to replicate this effect on both on all rings, actually on all 3 rings. So again, I'm going to auto keyframe. We're going to drag this around a bit just to make it random. Going to click our first keyframe here, drag it all the way along to the 90th, and we are going to give it this random effect by just rotating it randomly. It'll all sort it out for you, and then we can click off here now and go back to the starting keyframe, and if we click play, now we have 2 rings sort of moving. If you can see this, we'll go in slow motion, sort of like that. There we go. And if we render this out now, what happens is as the rings move, it sort of blocks the volumetric light, which gives a nice effect. And then we can just go into our third ring here. Again, same process. Just set it to a random angle. I guess this will do, and we'll keyframe that, and then come to 90. Or it doesn't have to be 90; it can be however long you want it to be, obviously. I'm just showing you the basics of how to do this, and then obviously give it a random effect here. Again, click off here. We're going to go back to the start, and if we scroll through now, see how they move randomly. So if we click play, there we go. So we've got this sort of ring effect. This outer ring probably moves a bit too much. I probably went a bit crazy on that one, but again, you can change it to your liking. And then the last thing I did was actually I set up a, I believe I set up a target camera. So you want to come here to the sort of camera icon and go to target camera, and then camera target here. This is on the default, as you basically create a camera, a target camera, sorry, it will create this null, which for the sake of the tutorial is just say an empty object which you can't see. It's just a point in the space, and obviously because I'm still haven't moved anything, it creates the null right in the center of the world, which is right where that light is. So it's going to focus right on the center. If we click here, there we go. If we click this button here, this actually shows us what the camera will see when we render it out. So if we're in this mode here, you don't want to rotate or anything because it will mess up the camera. You want to always make sure, if we're going to make alterations to the object, we're going to click out of this and we're going to rotate like this, and then if we go back, we're back to this view, and this will keep the camera steady as it rotates. Obviously it's a bit more professional, and then I keep saying professional, I don't know why, it's not that professional, but yeah, that's basically what I did. I set it up so it was either 2 or 3 second clips, and so I had it going for 3 seconds like this, and then what I did was I got the camera and I moved it round to here so it looked like a different view, and then we went back to 0 and I rendered another scene, another 2-3 seconds, so that looked different to the first scene. And then what I did was I basically faded them together, which is simple, like you can do this in Windows Movie Maker. Just put the 2 clips together and then rendered them all out together, and that gave you this sort of nice sort of camera changing effect from different angles, which overall make the scene just a bit more dramatic, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. So obviously you have to add your own textures, say to the ring, if you want to do that. Obviously that actually gives it quite a nice glow effect if you just put the default white on. Actually, that's a pretty cool effect. So obviously if we can scrub through here, there we go, it gives you that nice orb effect. So yeah guys, if you have any questions about this tutorial, if I went too fast, if I went too slow, give me a comment down below, and I'll take it into account. And people are texting me. I'll take it into account, and obviously the next tutorial I'll try and amend that for you guys. So yeah, please like the video, subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time.